I've just wrapped up a few weeks with the new iPad. No, not the Air, but the new entry-level model named the iPad A16. It's the most affordable of the bunch with an MSRP of $349 and comes with double the starting storage at 128 gigs. Compared to the last generation, it's a pretty classic spec bump in that only really the performance is improved. But even with not being changed all that much, the entry-level iPad is an excellent one, and provided you're not looking for an ultra-vibrant screen, a crazy amount of performance, or using Apple Intelligence, it really delivers all you could want in an iPad with really only a few qualms. So let's dive into the iPad A16 and see if this is the right iPad for you. Let's start with my favorite part, the design. I've been testing the iPad A16 in this lovely shade of pink. It's vibrant and fun, and thanks to a matte aluminum finish on the back, aside from the glossy Apple logo, it's mostly fingerprint free. It reminds me a lot of the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus in that Apple is offering the entry-level iPad in some seriously fun colors. If pink isn't your speed, it also comes in a pretty snazzy yellow, blue, or silver. Like the previous model, the entry-level iPad resembles the iPad Air a lot. Sure, it's not as ultra-thin, though the iPad Pro is technically thinner than the iPad Air now, but it's still a sleek tablet. It's the same dimensions all around as well. While Face ID is reserved for the iPad Pro, even the entry-level iPad gets Touch ID baked right into the power button. It's in a good spot regardless of how you hold it, at the top when held vertically, or on the left-hand side when horizontal. That's it for the buttons, and the only port, a single USB-C one, lives on the bottom. All unchanged, and now pretty standard when it comes to tablets. There are two stereo speakers inside the iPad which push sound out at the top and bottom when vertical, or left and right when held horizontal. These are just fine and were good enough to watch movies or a TV show on. Apple's also kept the 12-megapixel center stage camera in the right spot, where it first premiered on this iPad, centered on the long side of the iPad, which makes it perfect if you're using this horizontally or in the Magic Keyboard Folio. There's also a single 12-megapixel lens on the back. Now, the Apple Pencil situation here is a little weird. The iPad A16 does support the Apple Pencil USB-C, and that one can magnetically attach to the iPad, but it won't be wirelessly charged. So to charge it, you need to plug it in via USB-C cable to a wall plug or, well, the iPad A16 itself. It also, however, does support the first generation Apple Pencil with a Lightning port baked into the top. This one doesn't attach to the side at all, and to charge it, you'll need a USB-C to Lightning adapter. So a cable plus a dongle lets you recharge it. It's odd, but both still deliver the classic Apple Pencil experience, and that makes this iPad great for writing, drawing, or taking notes, especially for the basics. It checks the boxes. The only other design change is a small one and in line with the new iPad Air with M3. Apple removed the word iPad from the back of the iPad. If you're looking for an iPad to browse the web, use various apps, stream movies or TV shows, play some games, and even do a little work, you'll have no problem with the iPad in almost any scenario. It's still a 10.9-inch standard Liquid Retina display, which makes it an IPS LED display. Colors look good here, and most content looks really sharp. It's not a 120Hz high refresh rate, but then again, neither is the iPad Air or even the iPad mini. That's reserved for the iPad Pro. Now, Apple does say the iPad has an 11-inch screen, but that's rounding up from 10.9 inches. The Retina screen here only tops out at 500 nits, and when paired with its glossy, reflective finish, it can be a battle to use this on a really sunny day. Still, this is far more than a basic screen from a cheaper tablet and great for most use cases. The main upgrade with this iPad is in the formal product name, the A16. That is a significant upgrade from the A14 chip that powered the previous generation, and the A16 is pretty powerful even by today's standards, considering it first launched with the iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max. Here though, it consists of a 5-core CPU, a 4-core GPU, and a 16-core neural engine. It really makes iPadOS run well. Apps open quickly, I can split the screen, and running a picture-in-picture video call or video for playback doesn't slow things down much, if at all. Things do slow down a bit for larger extensive image editing or video editing, but if you're patient, you can get through them. The A16 chip inside the iPad is more than enough for basic tasks, including productivity and play. It even makes using the Apple Pencil easy here, even if it doesn't have hover or other new features. I found it great to use the USB-C or first generation Apple Pencil for note-taking, doodling, or even controlling parts of an app. Now, you might be asking yourself, it's 2025. Apple Intelligence has been out in some form for a bit. Why haven't I mentioned it? Well, that's because the new iPad doesn't support Apple Intelligence. In fact, it's the only iPad not to support the suite of AI features from Apple. But it's really no problem at all here. Sure, You won't be able to generate custom emojis or use writing tools natively. Even so, you can download and install ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot to accomplish those, and even more advanced iPadOS features like Math Notes are supported here. Point being, you're not missing much without Apple Intelligence here. The iPad A16 is still an iPad at heart, and for 99.9% of the tasks you'd want to run on an iPad, it'll see you through. I will give a quick shout out to the Magic Keyboard Folio, one of the key accessories for the iPad A16 alongside the Apple Pencil. It's quite different from the Magic Keyboard for iPad Air or the iPad Pro in that it's two pieces. The bottom main hole is the keyboard, complete with a function row and a pretty spacious trackpad. The back though is a rear cover with a kickstand that you can angle. It has its pros over the floating design in that it's instantly more customizable for how you want to use it, and if you just want to take in a film, you can snap that keyboard right off. That being said, it's not as great for using it on your lap. Now, while Apple didn't change a lot with the iPad A16, it still stands as likely the best iPad for most folks. If you're simply looking for a well-sized tablet, remember, this iPad has a 10.9-inch display that can handle more everyday tasks like browsing the web, sending some emails, light creative tasks, streaming videos, taking video calls, or even some light gaming. The iPad A16 deserves a look. You'll also need to be okay without Apple Intelligence, but it's still early days for that suite of features. It runs iPadOS very well, and with the A16, I suspect it'll be supported for many, many years. You'll also get double the storage, up to 128 gigs for the same starting price. So, if you're sold on the iPad A16 or are considering another model, like the iPad Air, check out the description below for our other reviews and to see the latest deals for Apple's entire iPad family.